Right, welcome ladies and gents. Let's talk about Doctor Who Season 2 Episode 4, Lucky Day. Oh, Russell T Davies. My boy. My boy. This will obviously be a spoiler review. No one cares. Russell T Davies spent an entire episode to rip on his critics. Basically. To rip on internet commentators. People like me. Oh, he spent a whole episode doing it. So, dedicated a whole episode to his critics. You don't tell me that these people have not gotten under his skin. This chap, very, very insecure. And he frames the internet commentator in this episode as being insecure. Pot calling kettle black there, RTD, my boy. Oh dear, oh dear. So basically, what's the story of Lucky Day? Well, the entire episode is not really with the Doctor. So the Doctor's at the start of the episode with Belinda. They turn up on Earth. They use the device to try and triangulate where they need to go so they can get back to the date that Belinda wants to get back to. They come into contact with a little boy called Conrad, who actually does have quite a tragic, well, presumably tragic past anyway, or upbringing. He's obviously quite stunned that he sees this police box appear and then disappear. And the Doctor gives him a 50p piece whilst he's doing all of this. And then randomly, so he then goes to his mother and is like, oh, this happened. She slaps him around the face. So, like, you know, that's physical abuse. That's a pretty tragic childhood if that continued anyway, which presumably it did. And then we flash forward. He apparently sees the police box again. But this time it's with the Doctor when he's with Ruby Sunday. And they're after one of the Shrieks. And he gets marked. He's apparently started a podcast to talk about the Doctor. All positive, actually. And then Ruby Sunday turns up post-Doctor. And it's like, yeah, I'll be on your podcast. Why not? Because he's been looking for her. Anyway, apparently he's played the long game for an entire year plus, probably. And the podcast wasn't really a podcast. It was a front. It was a front so he could then go into Unit and take them down because he's actually part of something called Think Tank. And it's like Unit lies, no more monsters, blah, blah, blah. And then Unit are the enemy. And there's a whole bunch of subtext in this. But basically, he then begins live streaming everything. And they're like, Unit and Ruby's like, oh, you're just some insecure little boy. You ride on toxicity and anger and all this kind of stuff. And basically, you can see what they've done here is that they framed the critics. So Unit is the BBC, right? And Conrad is the critics of the BBC and Doctor Who. And then Unit are like, yeah, we'll just release a Shriek on you then. Why not? So this monster, which I will actually say here, I'll give them props. Actually, not bad visual effects. I was pleasantly surprised by the visual effects. Okay, they weren't horrendous. They were way better than I thought they'd be. Like when it was actually CGI, way better than I thought it was going to be. Anyway, they released that monster on him. He then ends up in prison. And then the Doctor appears and does this big long speech, which you know absolutely is an allegory for Doctor Who's criticism. He even says, you're going to die. You know, I know your future. You're going to die at 49 alone. Not even a footnote. Filled with rage and anger. Blah, blah, blah. And you're just like, yeah, 100%. 100%. This is another slap in the face to any of the fans that don't like the direction Doctor Who's gone in. That's absolutely, unequivocally what it is. You know, the only bonus to this episode? The Doctor's barely in it, and he doesn't cry. This must be a first. He didn't cry in this episode. Like, it's madness. But the previous subtext... Oh, just to clarify, Conrad pretends to date Ruby Sunday as well. So he's like, all kinds of messed up. But in pretending to date Ruby Sunday, the old companion of the Doctor, he's like, you know, I want to be strong like the Doctor. Like, I want to be strong for you like the Doctor. I'm like, what is this? And there's some kind of conversation between Ruby Sunday's mother and gran, or auntie, whatever, who are like black, so they're from like Jamaica or the Caribbean or something along those lines. And the auntie, the granny's like, oh, I've been to English villages. I had looks, right? So they're trying to say that English villages are full of racists, right? Because Ruby Sunday is going to go with Conrad to this village before he reveals himself to be obviously playing her. And then Ruby Sunday's like, oh no, not everyone's like that. You know, not everyone thinks like that. Obviously going, yeah, not everyone thinks like a racist. And then, you know what's really funny about this? They get to the village, and literally first scene, there's diversity in the background. But second scene, they're at a pub with Conrad's friends, who, one of them's black, one of them's a woman, a ginger, and it looks like they're in a relationship together as well. So, I'm just going to throw it out there. If you're going to try and claim that people are racist in English villages, probably best not to have a whole bunch of, diversity straight away. And also LGBTQ stuff. Maybe, just maybe. Because it kind of delegitimizes your potential argument that you're trying to pull there. But anyway, super dumb. Super shit episode. And I honestly cannot believe. I mean, I can, but I can't believe. That Russell T Davies dedicated an entire episode to trying to silence his critics or call them toxic and angry and sad. Mate. Like, oh, your insecurities, blah, 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 blah. Mate, Russell T Davies, bro. Your insecurities here, mate. Come on now. Anyway, whatever. Super funny. Proper crap episode. Quite literally all designed to be a commentary on people that don't like Doctor Who, i.e. Doctor Who fans. So another slap in the face to Doctor Who fans.